Hello, this is Mr. Sam. Today I'm keeping up with my daily uploads of random thoughts I have during the day. So today I was thinking about um, political departments, like uh, all these ways in the world that we run our country. So in most of the countries we are democratic, right? So basically we want citizens of that particular country to have more rights so they can control more about what is going on with that country, and hopefully everyone will be happy in that circumstances. But there is like also a lot of downsides with the democracy, right? Like every year the votes were always like 51 to 49, like the numbers are really close. Doesn't that mean that every 4 year there's half of the country being upset and the other half of the country are happy? And I just don't feel like it is all that consistent. But given the fact that all of the most prosperous, all of the most successful and strong country are using this method, using this approach of democracy to run their country. So there must be something I'm missing, right? Or is it simply because all the other way of ruling a country are just simply too bad? Like uh when you look at totalitarian, like how there is only one leader of the entire country and everybody listens to that particular guy. I mean, the entire world was run in that kind of curriculum until just 300 years ago, right? When democracy becomes popular. I think democracy definitely is not the best way to run a country, no, but it just looks like that the other ones are even worse. We can look at the countries that are running dictatorship, where like North Korea or China, hardly they hardly ever have like economical success. Probably apart from China, I think they're doing very good. What's wrong with totalitarian? What's wrong with dictatorship? Like, I think one of the reasons why China has been developing so fast is actually because that there is only one central goal for the entire country. So everybody just do what basically the king says. And so we don't have to go through too much meeting. We don't have to go through too much paperwork in order to get something done. And I think that is very crucial for any country's economic success. So that China went from like one of the poorest country like 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, where is at that time China was basically the same as maybe India today. Like everyone was hungry, everyone was living like shit. And but I think they react very fast and they just kind of popped off, right? And the bad thing about dictatorship is probably because if everyone listens to one particular guy, then if that particular guy makes a wrong decision, the entire country just suffers with him. And wait. Like there's another point I actually forgot to mention. So in the previous dictatorship, in the previous days where China's economic growth are like insane. Oh, this was the I should be studying right now. Where the economic growth are very insane. It's actually the times where China has the president that they have sessions, like they only rule the country for a certain number of years and they have to go come down. They can't be like a king and just stays there forever. And before that, Chairman Mao, right? That guy who actually basically genocide his own people was a lifetime dictator. So maybe dictatorship was not that bad. It's just we need to change the dictators every few years, just like what America did with the presidency selection. But we don't do democracy select. We don't do democracy. We just let. I remember that what China do is they let the previous dictator, the previous king of the country, to choose the next, like the next after the next one. So if you're king number one, then you get to decide who's gonna be the king number three, but you can't decide straightforwardly who the king number two will be. I think maybe that could be quite a good reason why China is popping off in that 3 decades. But sadly, that curriculum, that policy has been abandoned after Xi Jinping gets on the table and he just basically declares that he will be a lifetime president again. Like looking at the curriculum, if your president is like actually super smart, he knows what he's doing and he can grow the economy and basically all perfect president and he wants to get things done, then I think it's gonna be very good if he's a dictator, right? Because if he's a dictator, it means that he's actually allowed to do whatever he wants, and all of his decisions will be executed extremely fast. But the problem with dictatorship is you just can't get yourself a good leader over time. Like there is dictatorship over the course of thousands of years in China, and it always starts with the good king in the beginning of era, in the beginning of what do you call that? What do you call that? Dynasty. In the beginning of a dynasty, there's always the good king, and they grow the economy. They're very strong. They're very powerful. They work hard, and then they pass the seat to their son and to their son, and probably 2 or 300 years later, you eventually gonna get yourself a very stupid one. And because the king was stupid, so it is more likely for the king to choose the next king stupid. So he's not gonna choose the smart one because himself is stupid. And that's basically how every single dynasty ended in China. And therefore, like in modern days, I guess we just abandoned this kind of curriculum. Like now China is doing pretty good, but imagine if someday or what if Mr. Xi just got very old and he can't rule the country like he used to and he makes stupid decisions and the whole country will just be fucked again. So yeah, I think it is pretty reasonable for we to just use democracy in this sense. I mean, I think China is doing they're doing some kind of policies to prevent this from happening. So basically, they want the next president to be smart. So all of the president in China, they have to go through a series of positions in the government department. So they have to be a mayor. They have to be in that position for a couple of years, be in that position for a couple of years, and they have to do good in their own position in order to be chosen by the current president. So I think It is actually better than the ancient times, but I still doubt it. I don't think it's that easy a problem to solve. Like, if that actually works so well, then why would we have the current president that actually just changes the constitution so he can be the king forever? It doesn't work that way all that much, right? And since if we have a good, so if we put it this way, if we have a king that is almighty and it was insanely good, insanely moral, and he's gonna do the best for the country, and he lives forever, doesn't that mean it's better for us to have dictatorship instead of democracy so we don't have too many resources wasted on presidency election, like what happens around us right now? The left and right are just trying to kill each other apparently and calling their opponents Nazi or some other names. Like, I don't think it's a good idea for a country to have two group of people that hates each other, right? That's just not gonna be the case, no? So I think in the future, when the artificial intelligence AI grows extremely powerful, and because they're practically immortal, we can just actually train them into arcane, and the AI is gonna decide for everything because he will always do a better job than a human president. And if you program him correct, then that particular AI model will never betray his own country and it does not have any wants. So we can abandon democracy and just, I think the best way is to let some overpowered king to rule over us and we just make sure that king will never disobey some certain rules and if the entire human race does this, maybe we don't need to have country anymore and everyone will just be happy. But I guess like it sounds nice, but it also sounds impossible for some reason. I think theoretically a country that uses AI as their king will be much more productive, will be it will have a competitive advantage over other countries that uses other political systems. So it might actually happen, guys. It might actually happen. Oh my God, that's some very random thought, but I think it might happen. So like, there's one country that does this, and now it becomes a very strong country, and the other countries will have to follow the pace, will have to follow the pace in order to continue with the competition. And so, as long as one country did that, I think everyone will have to follow. And we'll have some new stuff going on with our world, I guess. Like, future is too crazy to predict, but it's always fun to think about it, isn't it? All right. That's my speech and my thoughts today. Hopefully, I'll have another fun idea tomorrow. And see you.